Testing, testing. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Mic test, mic test. 1, 2, 3. Hi, happy Friday. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi. Can you hear me? One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Hi. Hello, hello. Hi, hi. How's everyone? Okay. 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 I'm gonna warm up and then we're gonna start our request day. I'm charging my iPad at the moment, so it's gonna take some time, and I'm gonna warm up during that time. Can you hear me? Is my microphone working? Hi. Hello. First time touching the piano today. Let's see. What's your time zone? It is currently 1:41 p.m. The sun is out. Yeah. The sun is out. It's very hot today, I think, outside. Not sure though. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Friday. Waiting for my iPad to finish charging, warming up. I'm gonna practice this. Hey Mitch. Hi. Lazar99 says straight to Campanella for warm up. You are great. I know, right? That's a pretty gutsy thing to do. Yeah. Um, mm, um, all right. Yeah, my iPad's charging, so while it does, I'm going to be practicing. Um, Es muy difícil tocar piano. It's very difficult to play piano. Uh, to do anything well, it's very difficult. Es muy fácil if you practice. Es muy fácil tocar piano mm, if you practice. And thank you. Gracias. Hi. This is Chopin Scherzo number 3. Yes. Eres muy hermoso. No hablo español. Sorry, I don't really speak Spanish, but I could read a little, just very, very poco. But it says it's very difficult to play piano. Yes, to do anything well, I think it's very difficult. Not just piano. Just to do anything professionally and to do anything well, it's difficult. Difícil. Yeah. See. But it's worth it. Can you play Carol of the Bells? Eres de China? No. Eres de Estados Unidos? Estados Unidos? O Corea? No. Eres de Estados Unidos? United States? I'm from America. No. Wrong flag. Okay, well, anyway, yes, no. America. United States. George Washington. Benjamin Franklin. Thomas Jefferson. Abraham Lincoln. Yes. Oh, okay, yes. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes, United States. Yes. 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 Cool. Will your father approve of our wedding? Are we having it in Aspen? Oh, that's funny. Portugal. Oh, hi. Hello. Hi. We have someone from Portugal. Yes. Beautiful place. America. Yes. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, Teddy Roosevelt. Yes, America. Yeah. The Rockefellers. Yes. Do you like to ski? I just like the town of Aspen because I spent my adolescent years there. And I have a lot of, I remember it being very pretty with very clean air. I was there for months at a time. For 4 years. Yeah. So. Hi. Oh, Hannah. Hi. Yeah. I was there for like 3 months. 3 months every year. For 3 years. And then 3 months, like I went back and then I stayed there for 3 months again. So yeah, I lived there for like a season each year. Yeah, Aspen's really great. Is that a digital piano? No. Hello everyone. Hi, like, subscribe, join membership. How are you? How are you? How are you, Shaquille? Hannah? I remember you. All right. Bravo, bravo, bravo from South Carolina, USA. Hi. California, USA. Thank you, thank you, thank you from California, USA. Thank you. From which land come good piano player? Hey, USA. Thank you. United States of America. It was no M&Ms on your bookshelf for one day. That is not M&Ms, that is Kirby. But sure. Hi from Mexico. You are very beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Could you play something there? Sure. Love the setup and your stream. Oh, thank you. Welcome in. All right. So somebody said Vivaldi. Vivaldi. Let's see if my should be enough. Should be enough. It's Kirby. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they made pink Kirby M&Ms? I would be so all over that. Just all pink and it's all Kirby. Pink, pink M&M Kirby. Oh my gosh, I'd be all over that. I don't know why they keep signing me out of my email. It's really weird. Maybe because I'm home. I have. Okay. Let's see. Let's go ahead. Could we have more Vivaldi? More Vivaldi we shall. Vivaldi as in any Vivaldi? Hello everyone. Where are you from? Currently, the time is 2:15 p.m. It is very sunny outside. I only live stream during the day. Sometimes you could see it, sometimes you can't. But nevertheless, I only live stream during the day. Let's see. Rousseau. Rousseau's Vivaldi? Rousseau? Ah, I see. Easy arrangement for beginner piano. Huh. Spring. Official beginner. Let's see how beginner it is. Whoa, it's very short. But it's not beginner level. Very weird. Primavera. That means spring. I honestly don't know why I could read some Spanish and French and German. Honestly don't know why, but I really don't speak Spanish, French, or German. So I apologize for seeming like I do. But I actually don't. Thank you. Let's see. Let's try this. Vivaldi. This is apparently arranged transcription, some version. they notated this wrong. Dun. It's notated wrong. This is wrong. I think it's just too many wrong notes. I can't sight read and correct it at the same time without getting little annoyed. So I'm gonna stop. It's not a bad arrangement. It's just there's too many wrong notes in there. See, oh, hold on. Oh wait, this might be okay. What's this? Go straight into that. Previously viewed. Which one was that one? The reason why it's wrong is because it's supposed to be modal. Vivaldi composed in a language that maybe seems a little archaic, and that's because he used modes. So if you ever see if you ever see it being entirely in harmonic minor or anything like that, then it's just um, it's been done wrong. I was letting you know. If you ever see a version that you feel like yeah, if you ever feel like you've seen it in kind of like tonal, it makes sense to you tonally, then you probably have the wrong, or you probably have a very badly arranged version. Okay, let's go ahead and skip to. Let's see if I could do this. Vivaldi's Gloria in Excelsis Deo. I think most people don't pronounce this in Latin, but you're supposed to pronounce this in Latin. Gloria in Excelsis Deo. This is just the accompaniment part. I thought it was an arrangement, but no, it's just straight up accompaniment part. Anyway, it's a nice piece. I think I prefer the Gloria in Excelsis Deo over the Four Seasons. I think it's better composition. But anyway, next, let's see. Yeah, did you like that? Archaic style sounds kind of cool, right? Although Jean-Philippe Rameau or some other composers sound very non-archaic. They were very some of these composers were very advanced for their times. So like even Beethoven, he far exceeds. People think, oh, he lived and died hundreds of years ago. So he's old school. Nah, not at all. His musical vocab is a lot more modern than most pop music these days. No joke. It is for real. So Kirby. Oh, he is. Yes. So cool. Jazz piano. Cool. She's so good, it's painful. I hope it's not painful. I hope it's just enjoyable. Cool. Hey, Shaquille's making everybody feel at home. Hannah. What's my favorite song to play? Hi. Hey, welcome back. I don't have a favorite. Did he define the style of music just way ahead of his time? Yes, he did. Absolutely. Beethoven, he just kind of, he's like the, he might not be the father of music, but he's certainly the father of modern music, if we could coin it that way. Beethoven, while he might not have invented music, he didn't invent the wheel, but say he invented the car. It's kind of like that. So while he did not invent the wheel, as in music, music was not invented by humans. To be honest, it was not invented by humans. We adapted it, but it's not invented by humans. And you're gonna be like, wow, what's she talking about? But um it, yeah, human beings on the history of human beings on earth is not that long. Now, if you redefine music as sound organized in time, how many birds have existed before human beings ever did? And how many and it's just that music was not invented by humans even to begin with. We think we take credit for creating music. We take credit for composing music. We take credit for performing music. And yes, while it seems more elaborate than you know some other forms of music, but if you really strictly think about music in terms of music is sound organized in time, then music was not invented by humans at all. It existed for longer than humans have existed, because humans have not been in existence since the beginning, since the very beginning of days, right? Like, we weren't created on day one, right? So, and another thing is, if you believe in, you know, angels, and the heavenly realm, if you believe in that, then you know for sure that music was not invented by humans. So, yes. So, to be honest, we are borrowers. I feel like human beings are borrowers more than creators. I think we borrow ideas. I think we borrow materials. I think we borrow. And the best of us, I feel that the best of us try to give back what we've borrowed, and share what we've borrowed. And I don't think it's just my opinion, but honestly, I think that human beings created pretty much nothing. But I think we are just maybe skillful borrowers, borrowing from what already exists, borrowing from systems that already have existed, borrowing from places, time, things, and I think everything that we do is borrowed, and we enjoy it, and we skillfully do it, and I think when I think about kind people or kind human beings or cool people, cool human beings, I think what I consider cool people or kind people or people I respect, I think it's they kind of share what they've you know they kind of share their expertise or their skills, or some people are very happy naturally, and so they share their happiness with people. And I feel like I feel like yeah I think my definition of cool people or kind people or people I like and respect, I feel like you know they've borrowed themselves, but they are very wonderful to be around. um mm, that's my thought on what we do. So as far as Beethoven, is he the father of music? No. Do I really think that there's a father of music? To be honest, no. I don't think there's a father of music, to be honest. But if I were to say the master of counterpoint, then obviously the Bach, right? Johann Sebastian Bach. And then if I had to say, then who reinvented the system of music for the modern people, then I would say, then it's Beethoven, obviously. and for obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean, I went into all of this talk about. I should really just have a podcast, really. But and I could think of a few guests I would love to have on my podcast. Um, and but yes, Beethoven was very modern for his day, and so was were a lot of people. Even Vivaldi for his time was not really belonging in that time. That's why a lot of artists and people, who are truly artistic and who are true artists, never really fit in the society, the societal norms, uh, little misfits, little outcasts, little bit like that. And it's not because they're behind, but it's only because they're way ahead, right? So, and I'm speaking for as an artist myself, I think way ahead of the time. I think differently. My perception of music is very different. My perception of art is very different. My perception of what great piano playing is very different from the population. I'm very different from the population in that obviously I had very extensive, extensive, one of a kind training. Um, that that in itself, my entire life has been very different from the population. I chose a path that is not that not everybody chooses, and but yeah, I think we're very different, and that's sometimes different is it's just different, right? And different can be beautiful, and that's what art is, and artists are, and musicians are. And I like that uh, members of the society or members of the population are, some members of the some members of the society, some members of the population are eager to embrace these differences, or they're eager. They recognize it that as being different, and they're eager to embrace it. So I appreciate that. And when I see that in people, I appreciate that. I think those people are cool too. They may not be artists, but when I see people embracing art or embracing things that they don't quite understand, but they appreciate it, I think that's very cool too. Anyway, that was our segment of Vivaldi, and I might just play his other pieces next time as well. Off the beaten path. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes. He translated what the angels taught him. Yes. He translated what his soul heard. Exactly. For us. Yes, exactly. I think so. Yes, and my pleasure is says, thanks for explaining and educating. My pleasure. Listen, people, the truth is thank you so much. I want to learn more about music very much. Oh, yes, and if you're here, then you would. I wish I was a bird. Oh, me too. Oh, yes, engineers. Yes, exactly. Right. Yes. Thank you. You're even cooler than I knew. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. I think saw some requests. It's music. Who invented humans? I think so. We discovered music. I think we discovered a system of language, and the music kind of is like a system of language. We've organized sounds, and I think that's what music is. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Like, subscribe. This is very good. We are a very intelligent group of people. We like to be intellectually stimulated. And we like discussions of the highest kind. That's very good. That's very nice. Um, um, what is that? Oh. Transcriptions for violin. Ave Maria. Okay, let's see. Transcription for piano. Okay, let's go. I know this. Oh yeah, I know this. Hold on, let me make sure I could. And then, yep, I knew it. Okay, and then. Okay, thank you so much for the wonderful request. Could you play Chopin waltz? I've been listening to this whole day, really. Opus 69, number 1. Sure. Thanks for playing and existing and sharing your music self with us all. Oh, thank you so much. So epic. Oh, thank you. Chopin waltz number 69. 69. Oh, I see. The lento. You like this? Ah. Can I tell you something really unusual about this? Waltzes are dance forms. Everybody knows. Who composed dance form music? Bach did too. Gigue, Allemande, Sarabande. Yeah. Um, I mean, Tarantella. um, Tarantella was a dance form. Um, anyway, dance music has been in existence for a while now. Um, and what is unusual about this is that it's labeled as lento, not allegro, not vivace, not allegretto, but it's lento. um, mm, I think this is I consider this very special waltz. I hope that was enjoyable. Hello everyone. Hi, like, subscribe, join membership. Hi. Allegretto. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, great. Perfect. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Just got in here. I'm studying while listening to you. I'm multitasking. Perfect. Hey, Ooh, 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 ooh. Hey, you are here. Hey, you're back. Geletakayan. I can't pronounce your name correctly, but hi, beautiful master pianist. Hello. Um, yeah, I would like to share a little secret about how to play this well. Did you know that if you know how to play this in a certain way, then the piece plays itself? I've been called a very natural player, an instinctive natural player, and that's been a lot of my life. Um, just my teachers scouted me. I didn't really have. Ooh, am I dropping? Just a second. Okay, let me see. Um, yeah. Vickers lost last Thursday. Oh no, don't cry. It was just like a dream, an exceptional lullaby. Bravo. Merci. Thank you. Scaring me. Oh, sorry. Syrup. I know, honey syrup, right? Thank you. I'll drink water. This is water. Ouch, ouch. Water. It was beautiful and sad. Yeah. Well, I'll teach you how to play it. Now, for for basics, you've heard from your maybe beginning teachers. They have really good intentions, by the way, when they say don't collapse your fingers. What they actually mean is they mean don't collapse your knuckles. Feel your knuckles. Your knuckles are gonna be almost always. I'm gonna say 99.9 repeating percent of the time up. Okay, so even if say that I say play with flatter fingers, it still means that your knuckles are not gonna collapse. When I say knuckles are collapsing, it means that your fingers are higher than your knuckles. So this kind of shape is not going to happen. You're going to actually have, at least, even if you play with the flattest fingers, do you notice how the knuckle is slightly raised? You're always going to have your knuckles higher than the level of your fingers. Okay? So when you're playing piano, and when you get very advanced, you don't have to always have the egg shape. You don't always play like this. Sometimes it's better to play with flatter fingers. But you're always still going to have your knuckles up. That's what they mean. That's what the piano teachers actually mean. They mean no collapsed like that. Don't do like that. Because this is easy to do. But then once you do this, you get really tense and you can't move your fingers very fast at all. It's very restricting. So you want to always have your knuckles up. And then when you use flatter fingers, what actually means, you're not going to focus on the flatter fingers. You're going to focus on the surface area at the tip of your fingertip. So go like this. Have you ever done this? Have you ever gone to like a beach or, played in a sandbox? And then you just grab like you play like kitchen or something, and you try to make like sand cakes or something like that, and then you pretend you're sprinkling salt over it or sugar over it. Have you ever done this? And then you've just kind of felt the grain of sand in your fingers. So when you do this, or even when you're cooking, have you ever tried like rolling around sugar or salt just because you like the feel of it? when you do that, that's the area. That's actually the area. Or like if you're playing with Play-Doh, if you tried or clay, if you try doing that, that's actually going to be the area. It's going to be a larger area. Now, the surface area of a fingertip is like that. And then when you flatten your finger, it becomes like that. And then you get a greater amount of the fingertips. Actually, that's not all though. When someone says to play with flatter fingers, there's another element that goes into it. There's an assumption that when you play with flatter fingers, that you're not going to attack the piano key from above like this, attack, but that you're going to stroke it slightly like this, like that, like this, instead of attack like this, a little bit like that. So that is actually the assumption that you're going to play with flatter fingers. Why am I talking about flatter fingers? Well, for this piece, he said lento, right? No allegretto, no allegro, no vivace. This is lento, which means that you're going to use your flatter fingers. You're going to play with this motion. Okay? Pretend this is the keyboard. This is the keyboard. This. Okay? Not attack, 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 but like that. That's going to be the assumption that if you go to a master teacher, an artist teacher, then we tell you flatter fingers, that means like that. You approach the keyboard, not just tap, tap, down, not like that, but it's like this. Yeah. Okay, so that's how you're going to be playing your right hand for this piece. So, like that. Then you go. Now, when you do that, what you get is you get a lot more security, so that you could do what? So that you could lean on the keys without, if you have just the fingertip like that, then you get worried. If you put too much pressure, you get worried that you might slide off. But once you do flatter fingers like that, even if you put pressure on it, it's harder to slide off. And you'll stay on the keys even with more pressure on the keys, which then makes your sound more fuller. So, and what you're going to do with fuller sound is, when you get fuller sound from this kind of security, from this kind of movement, you're going to be able to blend it to the next one. So go like that. And like this. Instead of ba, ba, ba. Oh, I might slide off. Instead of ba, ba, ba. And it sounds, those are actually, this is kind of good for other types of music. You really like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? Twinkle Twinkle Little Star has it's gonna be a little bit more like, it's when we don't care that we're gonna be off the keyboard. It's when we don't care. It's when we don't care that we're coming off the keys. It's when we actually want to be off the keys. But sometimes we don't want to be off the keys. So we want to have more surface area. Then with this kind of approach, you play yes. And so it's easier to blend the sound, easier to lean on these sounds. Yeah, when you want a little bit more leaning in, then it's a lot more secure to have flatter fingers. Because if you go like this, and then you try to lean in, and go, slippery. Piano keys are slippery. So there's one tip. Insane tips. These are not insane. These are just basic. I think the insane part would be if I told you that you're not going to be, because most of the time your center of gravity is centered. What if I told you that a really great way to play some of the pieces is to not have a centered gravity? Those are insane tips. By not having a centered gravity, you get a certain effect. And that's going to be an insane tip. The insane part is that it's coming from you. It's true. I never give tips. Yeah. Well, they're coming. Tips are coming. How-tos are coming. Tutorials are coming. Oh my gosh. They're coming. Tutorials, how-tos, tips. They're coming from me. They're coming from me. Yeah. More of them are coming. Thank you, Shishi. Yeah. Great. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah. So then, I've mentioned that the center of gravity is not going to be equal for this piece. Then what do you think is happening? What am I doing with my center of gravity for this piece? Could you play Chopin Opus 54, please? She said, finally. Yes, I know, right? It's been a long time coming. Yeah, I tend to show a little bit at a time. But yeah, 54. It's not nice. The fourth scherzo. Oh, it's very nice. Are you using it? Are you learning it? This part. Let's see. I haven't learned. I don't feel like reading it. I honestly don't feel like reading it. I don't have a passion for this scherzo. It's a lovely scherzo, but having played 2 out of 4, which is half, I don't right now. I don't feel the special need to learn this piece. So, but if you're learning it, best of luck to you. Yeah, I thought it would be harder, but it's not. Huh. There's like a fast left-hand section, right? Is that another piece? No, that's it. Let's see. It's a pretty long. Oh, this one. Oh, it's not that hard. Oh. No, it's not this. I guess it's not this piece. Yeah, I don't think technically speaking it's harder than the 3. Um, it's a lovely piece. I think in terms of technical difficulty, I think the 3 is the most difficult out of the bunch. Anyway. All right, cool. Hi, welcome back. You're back. How are you? How are things? Um, Amazing lessons. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, am I? Yikes. Oh, I see. Ah, you understand my hour and your hour isn't the same. Oh, then good, good, good. Yes, no, that's why I have this timestamp. When I say time, Nightbot gives you my time zone. It's a yeah. See, that's my timestamp. Yeah, cool. Well, I'm in trouble. Okay. Here it is. Oh, cool, cool. No, no, no. I was talking to my moderator. All right. Well, oh, is this hard for you? This is not hard. Just need a little time with it, but it's not impossible. It's not hard. Think about it. Out of all the virtuosic pianists, Brahms is not one of them. I'm sure he composed beyond his level for, you know, some of those stuff. I mean, I don't think he's not known for like virtuosity as a pianist. I'm pretty sure he was skilled, but we're not talking. This is not Islamé. This is not at the level of La Campanella even. um, yeah. Well, good luck to you. I hope you work hard on this. I don't see the merit of trying to learn the notes. As a set, yes, they are, but not individually. As a set, yes, but not individual variations. If you're just playing one variation, no. The reason why they're hard, they're deemed as hard, is because do you know Schumann Carnival? Do you know the reason why Schumann Carnival is considered one of the big, hefty pieces? It's because if you played like Eusebius by itself, then you would be like, oh, okay, well, I could do Eusebius from the set. But I could think of harder pieces. Rock 3 is harder. Even in little spurts. There are harder Rachmaninoff pieces. There are harder Rachmaninoff pieces. Let's see, technically difficult. There are harder pieces. And I don't think you understand that it's some of these pieces are considered hard because they're in a set. They're in a collection of pieces. And I would know. But oh, 안녕하세요. Hi. Hey, are you team Liszt or team Chopin? I'm team either. Neither. Either and neither. I like both of them for different reasons. I would be very confident in my piano knowledge and in my music knowledge. I am very confident in my piano knowledge and my music knowledge. So, anyway. 안녕하세요. Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. Hi. Hey, welcome back. Hey. Welcome back. Haha, it's hard to decide, right? Oh, yes, obviously, yes. Yeah. See, it was almost Team Rock for this week. I know, almost. Yeah. And I will be playing my Rock 2, my Rock 3 today. I am fighting my headphones and distraction. Oh, no. Cool. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So, Hi from Greece. Hi. Oh, okay, yes. I don't hit the keys unless I'm playing uh you know let's see. I don't hit keys unless some Proc and some Stravinsky. Usually don't hit the keys though. Team Rock, a very good choice. Well, I can never decide between Chopin and Liszt, but I have immense amount of respect for Liszt, more than in a way more than Chopin. But I respect Chopin for you know being Chopin, but in a way I respect Liszt more than Chopin. So I don't know who to choose. I love Chopin's music, but I think I like Liszt as a person better. Oh, and his compositions are awesome too. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Cool, cool. Well, I mean, yes, well, I know Chopin very well. Um, his music, his way of thoughts, and I know how to play them in the best way possible. Um, yeah, and then same thing with Liszt. But one finds a lot more, well, because Liszt lived longer too. Um, and that's probably it. You know, like with Liszt, you have like beginning, middle, and end, kind of. You know, as opposed to Chopin. I wish maybe Chopin could have lived longer, because then, you know, I wish, but yeah, it's kind of not fair to comparing the two too, in that way. That's why I don't compare the two. It's because, or I don't take sides when I don't compare the two. The two are very different, but I mean, one would assume that if Chopin lived longer or lived a long life like Liszt did, then then he would have maybe morphed more like Liszt did. Maybe Chopin would have changed in his later years. Because, when you listen to Beethoven, and obviously he was deaf, but, his output, right? His later works, a lot of the composer's later works, are very transformative. Um, you know, like even like Schubert, his late works, you know, um, his it's a little bit more deep and seasoned, and has more depth. And I wish that we could have had Chopin you know, in his old age, so that we could see what maturity and what added depth, and what that would have done to him. And probably then we could say, um, probably would be able to say then with that Chopin is the greatest of them all. You know, had he lived a little bit, fuller into his old age, and he actually like matured into like his full capacity, right? I kind of, I mean, what we have now is pretty epic. I would say, he's above geniuses. He's like a cut above geniuses. But even then, I wish we could have still, because one never knows. That you can't say that Chopin would have never matured, would have never changed. One could never think that way, right? Because you're dealing with a genius that's above genius level. So one he might have been he might have gone he might have brought upon post tonality a lot sooner. This is it's just a speculation. I feel like he could have brought chromaticism, because he was, he became very highly chromatic in his later years and very highly motivic in his later outputs. Um, and that's just, he hasn't even lived his all of, you know his 30s, never approached his 40s, never had his 50s, nothing. And so I think that whatever breaking point from tonality, it might have happened maybe a little bit quicker, because Chopin would have probably went over the edge, I think, is what I think. Because yes, he was tasteful, and yes, he was a snob, and yes, he thought, um, yes, but I feel like he would have turned that wheel of chromaticism a little bit too far to the edge, so that we experience, instead of us thinking, oh, Tristan and Isolde never resolves, like that whole unresolving, you know, how music has for centuries been taught that this is the right way, you know, you have to resolve to one, basically all of Schenkerian analysis, background analysis, all comes down to 1-5-1. But I feel like um, uh, if Chopin had been alive a little bit longer, then he could have brought about um, the non-ending of a piece, the unresolvedness of a piece, a lot quicker. Maybe he would have sped up that process hundreds and hundreds of years. Maybe you know, maybe the unresolved sounds of Debussy, or the floatiness of, this kind of thing. Even, Liszt did that too, right? Gray Clouds, right? I believe. He explored with, tones and things like that. And with Chopin, I think it would have been a lot more dramatic. Is what my speculation is. So I honestly can't compare the two. And not just because of their musical stuff, but because one lived a lot longer than the other. It's just not fair. Ah, thank you. Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you. When you look at me like that, I get a warm feeling of compassion. Cool. Oh, I personally prefer Liszt. Oh, yes, I see that. Cool, cool. Um, yes, great. Very nice. Yes, thank you. Very nice. Well, I don't see any pressing. Oh, I'm over 50 and would love to learn about the past. Well, I think age doesn't matter about learning about the past. You know, I think 7-year-olds learn about George Washington here. And, when you're 7 and 8 years old and learning about George Washington, that's learning about the past. Intellectual property, yes. Cool. I learned about George Washington when I was little. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin, all the people on the bills. Our dollar coins and bills. That's George Washington. That's Abraham Lincoln on a penny. That's George Washington on a quarter. I learned about them when I was little. Anyway, Hello everyone. Hi, like, subscribe, join membership. Right? Yeah. I mean, you learn about your your presidents, right? Because they're on the coins. George Washington's on the quarter. And then when it's like New Year's and stuff, and like Christmas and stuff, and when your aunt gives you a Benjamin Franklin, you say thank you. When you see a Benjamin Franklin on a bill and you get it as a present and you say thank you. Yeah, we don't really. Cool. Cool. Well, I am from an industry that defies age. Um, my professors taught well into their 90s. Um, there's actually no retirement age for my field. Um, and yeah, there's actually no retirement age for my field. Um, and yeah, and in my industry, the closer you are to the original people, like the closer related you are to the original people, the better you are. So you know how like in most industries, newer is better, younger is better. But in my field, the exact opposite is true. Um, most of the time. So yeah, I learned about George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. They're on coins, and Abraham Lincoln's on dollar bills. George Washington's on $1 bill. Benjamin Franklin is on the $100 bill. Well, Andrew Jackson. Um, well, I had a bet with somebody about, yeah, Benjamin Franklin's. Anyway, facts, yes. Pasakalia, sure. Like, subscribe. Let's see. Which one? The original one or the arranged one? this is so this is so epic. I think a lot of people would love to learn this. Hold on. Oh no, wait. Oh. And I think all of this is a repeat, so I'm gonna speed things up. The original version is supposed to be nice and easy, but I'm just gonna chug along at my pace. found a new piece. I found a new piece to share. Let me see. All right. Did he misprint? Did he mislabel Handel? Dude, can you not miss Handel's name? Okay. He mishandled Handel's name. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. There's another version. Let's see if this is better. Let's see if this is better. Let's see. Okay. Well, well, that was that. Okay. Stargazer. Yes. Yes, Hi, Stargazer. Hi. Welcome back. Yeah. Which is kind of old, means he's been playing his teddy for a longer time. Cool, cool. Cool, cool. River flows in you. Oh, hold on. I found like a PDF. Anyway, I'll just do this one then. Now, this is going to sound very, very strange. Did you know that the modern society, because we're so, um, because we're so bombarded with, um, um, like, okay, so for example, in the days of Mozart, in the days of Liszt, they didn't have, I mean, they had a lot of stuff, but they didn't have, like, you know, um, TV, uh, like constant background music everywhere you go. Um, you're not, um, you're not suffering from sensory overload anywhere, or, you know, uh, anyway, so a lot of people like, and I'm gonna include Satie in this. I think Satie was kind of like at the pioneering forefront of this. So I mean, right now. Um, I'm not rating, grading or rating, or putting levels on these composers. But like Iruma, um, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Yunaldi or Ernesto, whoever gets, requested often, right? Him, Hiruma, Satie, these people cater to the modern society, as in, there's a lot of repetition. It's actually the reason why the Passacaglia, the one I played before, Passacaglia is pretty much the original, I guess. Canon in D. Yes, Canon in D was popular. Yes, Passacaglia was popular. It enjoyed popularity during its day, but I doubt that it enjoyed this much popularity. As in, like, some people would say, I love Canon in D. Like, I don't, I doubt, people who lived in the days of Chopin would have said, I love Canon in D. I don't think they would have chosen Canon in D over Chopin, as opposed to, like Passacaglia, River Flows in You. Most of what I've noticed about, wait, is his name what's his name? Linaldi? I don't know. I'm sorry. But Iruma, Linaldi, and maybe, actually Satie should not be in this group, but people put him in this group. But it's the effect. It's the same effect of the Passacaglia, the Canon in D. It's the repeatedness. It's the repeating. I think Canon in D is a little too sophisticated. I say this in quotations, sophisticated, to be in this group, because it actually changes. But I think Passacaglia, something like this, and Linaldi, I don't. Anyway, I don't know, but I think these people have composed highly repetitive music, and that's why people prefer, like, trance music. Like, people prefer highly repetitive music that doesn't change. For, like, it's kind of like you're sitting there and you're just staring at the wall, and like the sun's setting, but you're just staring at the same wall, or something like that. That's the musical equivalent of these pieces. there's really not much going on, except you're just sitting there still. As opposed to, like Chopin's pieces, there's a lot going on. And I think that's why classical music has lost its popularity. I mean, it's still very popular, but it's not the popular music of our day. But I think it's because classical music actually has stuff going on, and you actively have to know what's going on. And as opposed to like these kind of pieces, like River Flows in You, and all those other Rinaldi pieces, and like Interstellar, Cornfield Chase, Passacaglia, Canon in D. Heck, let's put it in there. Satie really shouldn't be in there, but people perceive it in the same way they do. So those are all it's like the equivalent of watching the paint dry. That's like the musical equivalence of like the activity, like actual activity that goes on. But I think it's because the modern society, we're constantly, maybe subconsciously, maybe people feel pressured or people feel obligated, and they just don't want the burden. They don't want they want to use music as an unloading device. So then you listen to something like this and it unloads you, as opposed to, like when you listen to something like a sonata by Beethoven or by Chopin. I think people feel like Moonlight Sonata has the same effect too, but it's actually not. Honestly, Moonlight Sonata and Canon in T and or Sati, Shinobidi, and all those pieces, they don't belong in this category, but people perceive it as the same way. So whether it be in construct or whether it be not, but whether it be I like your shirt, it's cute, thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's I think people use music to unload. Uh or like if they need to like charge up, like I think the only other the only other genre is dance music. So basically like it's either dance music or you unload with like monotonous repeated stuff. Um and yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people don't understand classical music, because classical music is neither of the two. Classical music is like actually watching a movie. So instead of like like if it had to be equivalents of like these kind of music, like River Flows in You would be like watching the paint dry. Um like Rinaldi would be like staring out in the window, just watching the same scenery, but maybe the sun goes down or something. Maybe the same with Iruma's pieces. It's very like there's not much activity going on, as opposed to like Beethoven's sonata. It's like watching a movie. Like there's characters, and there's a storyline, there's a plot line, and then it's a middle and beginning and end, and you have to really pay attention to see where they're going and if they're gonna go home, like you have to like pay attention to see how it ends. But like there's a lot of activity in classical music, and so I think and this is just relatively speaking. We're talking relatively. So we're talking in relations to a Beethoven symphony, right? Where it's like highly motivic, or like in relations to the Chopin Third Sonata, right? In relations to that, pieces like this, pieces like, whatever, it's like looking out in the window, your neighborhood, your bedroom window, and you're just watching your neighbors, or watching your neighborhood, just like, you're just looking out the window, that kind of thing, as opposed to like watching a movie, but yeah, I've noticed that a lot of music, and I think that's why when you go to places like that's why when you go to places like Disneyland, there's like shows with like music, right? Like Fantastic, right, has like shows with music, and like it's something that people pay attention to, and that's like a kind of like a rare occasion. It's not like you're not going there and yeah. I think that's why jazz eventually became a little bit closer to, because like jazz used to be like the popular genre, right? But then jazz is kind of making its way on the shelves like the classical music, because even like jazz, it has content, like it moves, like it has a storyline, like jazz music has activities, not as much as the most complex classical music, but it has activities, so it's being shelved into. I think that's kind of like a curious phenomenon that I'm witnessing. I feel like because I mean I like activities in music. I like the intricacies. I like the complexities. I live for it, and then when I find like, and I'm very engaged in it, so then when I find like something like, oh, that's cool, but that's just because I'm a musician, and that's how I operate. But I've noticed like general trend is like, people love the Ginobili, thinking that it's like Iruma or Rinaldi or whoever, or the Cornfield Chase or whatever it is, but it's not. Like Satie deliberately tries not to be like them, but he's being categorized with them, which is really weird. But he's being liked for the same reasons why people like Iruma, or people like kind of like how Moonlight Sonata is being grouped with Canon in D, right? Or the Passacaglia, right? Like Beethoven would raise up from his grave if he found out that his Moonlight Sonata is being called Moonlight, and it's being ushered into the same category as Iruma or Rinaldi, or he'd be furious because there's more activities going on, but yeah, it's just a very curious phenomenon that we're witnessing as a whole society, that music has become very secondary, as opposed to like primary. For classical musicians, most respectful classical musicians, music comes before us. We don't think of it, for respectable real classical musicians, we don't think of music as being below us. But consumers and non-musicians, it's easy to say, well, I come first. I come first, my needs come first, and then I choose the music that serves me. And so I think that's why a lot of the Iruma, Rinaldi, Satie, and Beethoven's Moonlight, Passacaglia, Canon in D, like these music, they're popular for this reason. Very interesting. Oh yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Avoid me. Oh, thank you. Oh, hug. Sanchez, hug. Great. Oh, by the way, Winnie the Pooh music. There's stuff going on. Winnie the Pooh music. Like, do you know the reason why Pinocchio music is Disney's um front front and center music? You know, When You Wish Upon the Star, like that's what they play in the theaters. That represents Disney. Do you know why? Because there's a lot going on in that little song. When You Wish Upon a Star is a masterpiece of a song. There's a reason why it represents Disney, and it's so iconic. But it's like Pinocchio's, you know, like a wooden puppets movie, right? Um, we don't we don't watch Pinocchio as much as we listen to When You Wish Upon a Star. Um, but you know that's you know so Disney songs have a lot more going on. There's a lot going on in Disney songs. Uh, yeah, and like older generation of Britpop. Um, there's a lot going on there too. And yeah, but any case, hello, hi, like, subscribe. Cool. So fascinating. Love listening to you. Thank you. Beautiful woman and beautiful artist. You are very sweet. Huh? What does that mean? Okay. Okay. Let's see. Winnie the Pooh. Let's play Winnie the Pooh. What's this theme for? Ah, it's this one I played. Hold on. Okay, let's go. Ooh, and then. Yeah, I think this is one of the most well constructed songs. It's beautiful. Um, Not only because I'm a big fan of Pooh. Oh, recently I went to character dining at the hotel, and they had um, they had Donald, Daisy, Goofy, Pluto, and Clarabelle. So those five characters. But then I was walking back to the car after, and then my sister asked me like, oh, "What would you have done if there was Mickey and Pooh?" And we're just talking like, "Oh, it would have been nice if we saw Mickey and Minnie." But then, you know, but then I was like in a dilemma on my own. Like, what would I do if Mickey and Pooh were there? I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I mean, I wouldn't be able to choose a favorite. And this would be a harder decision than Chopin versus Liszt. For me, it's like Mickey versus Pooh. That's like harder for me to decide than Chopin or Liszt. It's an impossible task. But yeah, um, yeah, I think I liked Goofy the best out of the five. Um, but yeah, good food, and I had a ton of fun. My favorite part was when they all just danced around. Yeah, that's my favorite part. But oh yes, I see. Cool, cool. Mm, mm. Uh, you like Goofy's voice? Oh, cool. Play Mozart? Any Mozart? Happy Friday! Hello! Hi, hi. Yeah, well, uh, did anyone eat chicken? Hey, hey's looking at you. Chicken? Did you have chicken? Wait, did I have chicken? Hey, hey's looking at you. Well, anyway, cool, cool. Happy cough Friday. I need to get rid of my cough fast. Somebody made Chopin Winnie the Pooh. Hold on. Gotta play this. What is that? Hold on. What is this? Oh! It's the Heffalump song. That's funny. Who did this? Noah. Shout out to Noah Wine Weinrich. or Weinrich. I'm thinking it's probably not Weinrich. uh, Weinrich, Noah. Shout out. Good job. You transformed heffalumps and oozles into a polonaise. That's funny. Heffalumps and oozles polonaise. Hmm. Very doable. That's funny. Did Julie Andrews sing this song? Seriously? I didn't know. Huh. No way, that's pretty cool. Anyway. Okay, well. Yeah. I know, right? Somebody did somebody did a polonaise on heffalumps and oozles. Chopin would be proud. Okay, nobody's asking for Shinobidi, which means I play Shinobidi. Yeah. And I'll tell you why it doesn't belong in the category of whatever I said before. Now I'll tell you exactly why it doesn't belong in any of those categories. Well, it's because um, we might not think of, when we're listening, we might not be thinking, well, excluding me, because I'm already a musician. But most musicians, non-musicians, or even musicians, don't really think about measure counts. But composers are different. Composers, when they compose with a structure in mind. That's why when you see like Chopin Etude or Chopin Waltz or Chopin Sonata, the titles are different because it's a different level of seriousness. It's a different expectation. It's a different level of stuff. So when you see Chopin, when you hear about Chopin Waltz, the expectation of that would be different from Chopin Sonata, right? A sonata is going to have multi movements, and that's like the expectations, right? The general expectations. Anyway, for Shinopedi, for Satie, this one especially, he starts out with 4 bars. Okay, so there's 4 bars of repeated material, then there's 4 bars of a phrase, and then 4 bars of repeated material, 4 bars. But what he does then, he increases to like 5. He makes it odd, or 6. He makes it odd, 6, and then 3, and then he makes it like 5, like, or 4.5, and then he makes it like 7. So he starts playing around with the duration of a phrase. So you're supposed to be disturbed, but I have never met a single person who've heard this and said, this is so peaceful. They've all said, this is so peaceful. This puts me at ease. And I'm looking at them like, that's probably not what Satie intended. Because if Satie really intended it, because, we're assuming, he's trained and he's smart enough, right? We're assuming that. Then assuming that he would have gone out of his way to accommodate for, security, simplicity, relaxation, and all that stuff. In Shinopedi, you find none of this, really. I'll tell you why. Well, I'll tell you one thing. The phrase structure is irregular. When the phrase structure is irregular, it means that he does not want you to feel at ease. Something's a little off. You're supposed to feel uncomfortable. You're supposed to feel stretched. You're supposed to feel like odd. And that's what this is. And so if you were really paying attention to this piece, you would not be at ease. But then if you weren't paying attention to this but just go in the trance like you would with River Flows in You or Analdi or whoever, it's easy to just fall in a trance and just let things be, right? If you do that with this piece, then you've completely missed what Satie had hoped for. So I'll tell you, right? So you have now in music, phrase structures are important. How many measures of each phrase is important. They do keep this in mind. Also, bass movement is important. So you have 4 of, okay, you have, I'm just gonna hold it like this. You have 4 of, that's good. And then you have that. Good. That's good. And then 4 of this, and then where'd that come from? You keep having this. All of a sudden you have that kind of movement. It's fast, not repetitive at all. Okay? And then he moves you, and then you're stuck with this kind of bass. And then you begin to think, well, I could put myself in a trance if you picked it up. If most people, after 4 bars, after 4 measures of just the intro, they're already in a trance and they don't pay attention to anything that goes on. They just go, oh, this is so nice. Oh, this is so soothing, so relaxing. But if you are sensitive, or if you're a musician like myself, you realize that this is a little sinister, to be honest. Then you get into a, but at this point, this kind of repetition is unnerving instead of comfortable, because you don't know how he's gonna suddenly change things around. And then you go back to then that's just the bass. We're talking about the bass. And then on top of that, you get uneven number of notes in the melodic line. You get that's the very it's not a it outlines D major, but then you get he suddenly goes into, and then there's a non-chord tone starting the measure, because it's a passing tone from before. And then okay, it's a little odd still, but then you get try singing that. That's not designed for comfort for your listening. You're supposed to be like, what? Like that. So when you hear that big of a gap from there to there, you're supposed to be like, how dare you? And then that coupled with the irregular number of measures, coupled with sudden changes in bass, this is a 3 times no, no, no. No, no, and no. That's supposed to be, you're supposed to be like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But it goes unnoticed most of the time, right? So you get beautiful melodic line. It's so peaceful. And honestly, every time somebody asks me, I love Shinopedi, please, play this for me. I know they have good intentions, but in my head, because I'm thinking, it's not peaceful for me, right? Because I already know, right? I already know it's not designed for peace, and then I but it's like oh, she wants me to play something disturbing, but in a peaceful way, and so she could find peace in this disturbing piece. And so sometimes I do play the Jinopedi when it's requested. And I keep silent because I know, this person enjoys it for a purpose that this was not created for. So I just keep silent. But it's just not created for peace. I mean, and then we get into a, totally different. And we talked about archaic sounds, right? This is modal. And this is modal. And then certainly modal. He's choosing not to use the leading tone. He's trying. It's a flat 7. That's a sound. I don't know. It's just through and through, it's not the most peaceful piece. And I'll tell you, and I've told you 3 obvious reasons as to why this is not a peaceful piece at all. But I'll play it again. See if you notice these things. Well, what it's supposed to do, you're supposed to feel lost. You're supposed to feel lost. That's what it's supposed to do. The purpose of this piece is not to give you peace, but it's supposed to make you feel lost. Because if you're counting stuff, and if you're counting on the leading tone being there, he takes away the leading tone. He takes away the tendency tones. He takes away the structures. He takes away the melodic lines by displacing it more than an octave. and he takes away a lot of stuff. And every time you lose something, you're supposed to say, "I'm lost." And that's actually the purpose of Toshinobori. To be honest, I don't have the heart to say this, while it's being requested. So I said it while nobody's requesting Toshinobori. Toshinobori. Yeah. Never noticed it before. It's almost like your brain is waiting for a resolution. Yes, exactly. You're supposed to be lost. This is supposed to make you feel lost. It has every intention of making you feel lost. It was designed to make you feel lost. But I don't have, again, oh, thank you. I'll drink water, yeah. Yes, similar to Brahms' Waltz 39-9. Yes, 39-9. Let's play it. Exactly. It's supposed to make you feel lost, unresolved. Yes. Now, there's a prime difference between this waltz, Opus 39, number 9 by Brahms, and the Junoperi 1 by Satie. And I could tell you, see what wonders tendency tones and structural phrasing does. There's regular bars of melodic material. It's regular. You could predict it. Something's gonna change now. You could count it. Da bum ba da da dun 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 1 2 3 1 2 3 things are gonna change and da 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 da. It's regular, and because the phrasing's regular. See what wonders it does? This has more point, this has more purpose than the Satie, because the phrasing, the number of bars belong to the phrasing, it's regular. Oh, hi. Thank you. Yeah, it's regular. As opposed to Satie, it's irregular. So you're lost. Also, another thing is this one has more purpose because all the tendency tones are alive. He doesn't flatten the seventh. you know, he doesn't flatten the leading tones, which makes it directional. There's a purpose of the tone wanting to go somewhere. So the tendency tones are alive, and the phrase structure is regular, which makes this as ambiguous as it is for Brahms. So for Brahms, this is I'm lost, right? This is how, Brahms portrayed I'm lost. And then, up comes Satie and says, hey, I could get you real lost. I could get you real lost. Right? And that's Shinopidi. Shinopidi says, oh, well, let's do away with the regular number of bars for the phrasing. And who cares about tendency tones? Let's flatten that seventh. And so we don't really know. Do you know why we switched from modal music to tonal music? Major minor. Do you know why we selected only Ionian and Aeolian from the modes to, it's because of precisely because there's a level of predictability. There's less to remember. Major, minor. You only have to remember two. Okay? But then when you get into like church modes, you could be in Dorian, you could be in Phrygian, you could be in Mixolydian, and you could be in all of these things, but then you could be like, oh well, which one am I? Am I in Phrygian? I mean, you would know if you're in Locrian, but Locrian came last. So Locrian is not even like one of the earliest modes. Anyway, well, intellectual property of Dr. Christine Hye-Su Kim. But yes, we moved from modal to tonal major minor because you think that memorizing all the key signatures of the major keys and the minor keys is difficult. Oh, come on. You try you try D Dorian. you try memorizing the different Dorians. The different Phrygians, the different Mixolydians, the different Locrians. Locrians are pretty Locrians are pretty but you would have to know like which Locrian it is, right? Like if you're a musician at that point. You'd be memorizing a whole lot more than just the major keys and the minor keys, right? Anyway, thank you so much for your super chat. Was it super chat? Oh, thank you. I see. Cool. Nice. Very good. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. That push and pull without the resolution Brahms waltz. Yes. Isn't it lovely? I love it too. Yeah. There's a push and pull and there's a direction because there's a tighter structure. The number of phrases and the number of tendency tones and things like that, those kind of things help tighten the structure. If you are wanting as a composer to have a tightly structured piece, what you would do is you would put in a lot of predictability in it and a lot of tendency tones in it. And that would be as tight as you possibly can be. Kind of like and there's gonna be repetition and things like that. So it's gonna be, and then that's gonna put you in a loop, a very tight loop, And then the more you want to deviate from that, then you get transitional materials like the fluidity of the Chopin, transitional materials, the passages and things like that. That actually gets you away from the main idea, right? So these compositional things are very crucial for a performer when they notice it on the sheet music. Things like this matter to a performer. And if you're learning piano, then it matters to you too, because you're going to be playing them. Yeah, you're going to have to categorize. When you're learning notes and things like that, once you get once you get past a certain level of, piano proficiency, you're going to be looking at like, oh, what's the meaning of this? Yeah, so I am playing, C major chord, but what is the meaning of that? You know, so pretty soon you're going to be looking at, instead of like apple, you know, like if you're reading a book, like, if you're a kid and you know how to read apple, but then, let's say you pick up like a Harry Potter book over there, and you might find, apple. you might like all the words that you don't know, and all of a sudden you might find apple, But like, what happened to the apple, right? You want to know, like, that apple, what you word out, what you sound out, it is actually representing, like a fruit, like an actual, like an object, right? Whatever you're sounding out, it's not meaningless, right? So once you, start playing at a higher level, then you start wondering, okay, I'm sounding out these notes, but what do these, all mean, right? Kind of like reading apple, orange, you could sound it out, but what, or like, there's a fence. Yeah, but like, why is there like, why are they mentioning a fence, or like, what about the fence? You start wondering, because we human minds, we're designed to fill in the blanks. And that's why there's a lot of assumptions about a lot of things. Even if people don't know the whole story, they like to fill in the blanks, right? It's exactly the same with music, but with hopefully, what you'll be doing is you'll be filling in the blanks with correct information, with facts, with things, with things that you could see on the sheet music. And that's why I think, reading the sheet music is very important, because you could fill in the blanks, but not with what you think is the truth, but you could fill in the blanks with the actual truth, with the actual information, with the actual factual things. And I think that's what's most wonderful about classical music, is that everything has a central design. And when you fill in the blanks, it's not filling in the blanks from nothing, or from, assumptions, or, something, ephemeral, or, anything goes, like arbitrary stuff. Like, no, it's like, it's very concrete. It's very scientific. It's very research based. And, like, it's just like, like, this is it. Like, that's why I love classical music. It's just that it's just so obvious, right? Like how there's a very obvious difference between the Ginobili and the Brahms, even though the two are, kind of quizzical, right? Kind of, you feel unresolved, but there's a different level of unresolvedness, right? And so, and then how can you prove it? Well, you could prove it by putting the sheet music next to each other and saying, well, this is this and that is that, and that's why I love classical music, because there's just such solid concrete proof of everything, of every single little thing. Like, yeah, the more you get into it, the more it's like that. The more you get into it, the more solid these evidences become, and the more detailed, and the more the information increases exponentially, actually. So the more you know about music, especially when it comes to classical music, and the truth about music, the truth about piano playing, good piano playing, and piano music, and how good piano playing always follows the principles of music, and not and it's not like, oh, I feel like playing this loud. It's not like that. And I think that's why a lot of people like pop music, because people think, oh, I could do whatever I want. But honestly, like, you could do whatever you want after you learn everything there is to know about music, because then your options of, I could do whatever I want, but whatever you want, that level gets higher, and whatever you want, your options get vast. remember what I said before, that I feel like everything in human life is just borrowed. Like, we don't invent the wheel, right? We don't invent the car, but we just use it. We use a car, we use a wheel. We use a wheel that we didn't invent. We use a car that we didn't invent. For most of us, things are borrowed, and I feel like you know, even, like, so when you get to, like, oh, pop music, I'm being really creative, I could make a song, but how bare is that? I mean, unless you're like Mozart and you just, unless you're Gershwin and you just, you know, or, Sherman Brothers, come on, uh, but but the thing is, they had to train themselves. They learned a lot of things. Sherman Brothers were educated. Was Gershwin educated? Heck yeah. Mozart, was he educated from a very early age? He was very educated. So honestly, these people, the more you know, right? So the more respected bands, right? The more respected bands are more educated, because what did they do? They explored their options, they did the work, right? So they did their background work, and then they became, reputable, because they weren't doing the primary colors, you know blue, red, and yellow, painting everything in primary colors, primary chords 1, 4, and 5, you know they weren't doing that. They weren't saying, oh, the shades of lavender, it's like a splash of, fuchsia, or whatever it is, right? So it's not too late, to go into songwriting or music, innovations. It's not too late to get into that after you learn all the facts, after you learn all the what you need to know about music, what you need to know about piano, what you need to know about, it's not too late. It's actually better if you, like, learn a lot more. The more you learn, the better you are, and so it's, for me, this is how I feel. It's not too late. I could play piano until I'm 90 something, if I take care of my health, and I stay safe, and God blesses me with longevity, then I could play piano until I'm 90. But is it too late if I start composing at 90? No, actually, no. you know is it too late if I start composing, if I'm 60, like, is that too late? If I'm 50, is that too late? Like, if I'm 40, if I start composing, if I start composing at, like, like, whichever age, is that too late? No, not after everything I know. Like, it's never too late, right? So I think of I think classical music, everybody should learn classical music, to be honest, because this is active music making and active listening, active participating, actively following, like, the main characters and side characters, and where are they going? Oh my gosh, and it's very dramatic once you know it, right? Like, Jeopardy is very dramatic, right? Once you know that you're supposed to be lost, and how he makes you feel lost, and it's like, it's a little dramatic, trying to get you lost, right? So then, I don't know. Maybe I know I'm preaching to the choir, but just wanted to say, yeah. Anyway, it's never too late to wake up in the morning. Never too late at all. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. Can you play Moonlight Sonata? Sure. Oh, we're on the topic. Yes. 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 Let's go. Okay, let's go. And I assure you, you cannot be in a trance when you're listening to this. There's a lot that goes on. This is not an Aldi or Iruma. Can I tell you, um, Beethoven? Do you know the irregular amount of phrase and things like that? Did you know Beethoven? Beethoven, irregular. This is not always regular. Moonlight Sonata, not always regular. It has irregularity. This one. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Hug. Thank you. Oh no. Oh, I see. Cool, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, you said virtuoso after I played Moonlight? Do you really know? It takes control, a lot of muscle control to play Moonlight well. Hey. See, we're growing in numbers. The people who know music and who care about music. Yeah, we're growing numbers in our channel. Very nice. I appreciate this. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, Gigi, yeah. Gigi, there's more of us now. Greatest composition ever. Might be one of the most revolutionary instances. Yeah. Yeah. Because first movements of sonatas usually don't aren't designed like this. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, can you believe the heat that he would have gotten? I mean, if all those people who criticized Beethoven were alive today and saw the effect of Moonlight Sonata, I mean, if everybody who criticized Moonlight Sonata could be alive today to see how loved it is, that would surely get them quiet, right? Yeah. Um. But yeah, cool, cool. All right. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go to the members only. Now. Thank you, thank you. Like, subscribe, join membership. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Very nice, very nice. Thank you so much. Okay, well, I think we had a meaningful time. And yeah, kind of how I look at the greats, you know, kind of like how I look at the greats. I look at my streams as more as it being it for the people now, but also for the future. You know, thankfully, you know, with technology, there are it's gonna be these things. These are you know, these live streams. You know, people will be able to rewatch them. So I'm glad. I'm glad I'm leaving a record, not just, you know, for now, but kind of like how you know, you rewatch episode of Mr. Rogers or Bob Ross or Steve Irwin, or you know, and kind of like how you do that. I'm leaving this for the future generation. This for the sake of not just now, but for the sake of the future generation. And if you're watching this from way in the future, hello, hi, I knew you'd be watching. And I know I'm a lot bigger at your lifetime than I ever was in my own lifetime. I know that I am very, very big. Like how Mozart and Beethoven and Chopin are really big now, more than they ever were in their days. I know I'm a lot bigger now when you're watching in the future than I am now here. But yeah, I want to say good music deserves to be lived on, lived in, and lived for. Yeah. So keep loving music, keep loving good music, keep pursuing good music, and yeah. Well, I'm gonna end the live stream now. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Congrats on your success and subscribers when you have many blank things ahead. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. 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 Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's pretty cozy here. Yeah. Thank you. Well, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be practicing tomorrow. No requests. Yeah, probably just I'll be warming up and practicing more tomorrow. And I don't know when. Probably gonna be earlier, and I'm probably gonna. But yeah. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye. Thank you. Like, subscribe, like, subscribe,